What's going on, guys? I'll tell you an interesting story about a guy I knew who was not a very smart guy, but he made a good amount of money. Now, one of the things I'll point to, and I'll tell you, he had a couple of interesting qualities that I think contributed to his ascent. Now, too, before we get into it, too, you know, I think I talked about it in one of my early videos, is that when you see someone who does good, and that's that you perceive as ahead of you, like let's say for example they make a lot of money, or they're better in a sport, or they're better in school, or they're better in relationships, or they get, whatever it might be. A lot of times we look at those people and we say, hey, I'm better than that person, I'm smarter than that person, whatever it might be, and then we leave it at that. And then how can they do that? How can they just got lucky? But I think personally, what's always worked for me is I look at that. I look at it objectively. I say, okay, that person's ahead of me, but what did they do right? Like, what are they doing that I'm not doing? Or what are they doing that's working for them that I can apply to myself? And then I take that selfishly, I apply it to what I'm doing. And then if you do that, you can blow past those people. Now, the thing about this guy, which is really interesting, is one of the big things he did is, okay, I'll tell you one of the negative things he did, and then I'll tell you where he turned it positive. He would always jump from one thing to another. Like he would start a business ever since when I say young, probably like when I was in my early 20s, really early 20s. He was just starting businesses, and we tell him, like, focus on one thing, because he'd start a business, it wouldn't work. He'd start another business, it wouldn't work. He'd start another business, but it wasn't like he was putting a lot of effort into it. He was just it seemed like he was expecting to start a business and to just make a boatload of money. That's what it seemed like he was doing. And I think that's what he was doing. And, but he ended up starting a company. He landed a contract that made him most of his money. So you could say, well, he landed a contract that made him most of his money. But there's a little twist to that. He landed a contract with a company. He supplied them, and he made. When I say he got rich, I mean he's not like living in a $5 million home, but he lives very good. And I haven't talked to him in quite a few years, but from what I heard about him afterwards, he made a good amount of money, and he's not hurting for any cash unless he blew it all. And that might be the case too, because he's kind of dumb. But one of the things he did is he almost had a fearlessness to him. Like when we looked at him, we thought he kind of looked dumb. Like he looked kind of stupid because he was always doing stuff, and he was like failing over and over and over again. And I'm not the kind of person who looks in and says, oh, this person failed. I'm not like that, because I tend to think there's, and it sounds cliche, but you really can't succeed unless you fail a lot. And typically the people who are the most successful are the biggest failures. Like I can tell you right now, 100%, if you drive through the most affluent neighborhoods, you drive through neighborhoods that have, $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 homes, $1 million homes. And if you can knock on those doors and you can get the person out of there, as long as they didn't like inherit money or win a lottery or whatever it might be, if they're people who earn their own money, those people can sit down with you for a whole day and tell you about all their failures that they've had. But this guy, he would do stuff and almost look foolish. I hate to say that, but he would almost look foolish because it seemed like he wasn't given a full effort. But what he had is one of the things I do give him credit for is he had like a fearlessness. Like he would pick up a phone and he would call someone. And even if they told him like his idea is stupid, it wouldn't work, he would just keep doing it. And what he ended up doing, he ended up landing a contract with the company, supplied them, made a lot of money. And I don't even know if his business is still going. I don't know. I haven't talked to him in like I said, quite a few years. But that one contract he got made his business, made him his money. And you could say, well, he got lucky. Well, yeah, I think he did kind of get lucky, but he created that own luck for himself. If he didn't go out there and push, if he didn't go out there and make calls, if he didn't go out there and put himself out there, if he didn't go out there and put himself on the line, he wouldn't put himself in that position to get lucky, to get with that person who he got lucky with. And that sounded kind of bad. but what I'm saying is, like, to land that business deal, you can't get there if you're not making the calls, if you're not making the connections, if you're not you can't be afraid of someone telling you no. You can't be afraid of someone saying, "Hey, that idea is stupid. That's foolish." And we'll wrap up on that. We'll wrap up on saying, just get out there and do it, guys. Get out there and do it, because you can only make your own luck. If you wait around to get lucky, it might happen, it might not, but you got to create your own luck.